Good evening and welcome. An exciting time is upon us because it has been literally months and months that we've been building up to this semi-final for 2019. And that's it. In exactly 32 minutes from now, this entire screen around me is going to get populated by the figures that we've gathered in the Neta exit poll. Each state is on your screen. Rajasthan is there at the bottom, Madhya Pradesh is at the top, Telangana, and you have Chhattisgarh and Mizoram. So simultaneously and instantly at 5:30 p.m. when the Election Commission deadline expires, all the numbers will come out instantaneously on your screen, every number that we have. Subsequent to which you will have all the polls out there, the poll of polls right here. And we are doing a simultaneous release on all social media platforms. So at 5:30, you get to know the results, whether you want to watch on newsx.com, whether you want to catch them on Facebook or at our Twitter handle at NewsX. So get connected on your phone line if you don't have a television near you. We are building this up because there is excitement in the air. What happens in the next 4 days, come Tuesday when the final results come out, are going to have an immediate bearing on where the momentum for 2019 is. Depending on which party is doing better, they're going to argue that it's with them. The parties that are going to do badly is going to say that this is a local poll, the national elections are completely different. But perhaps even the timing of the elections may well be decided by the results that come out on Tuesday, the 11th. Let's get started. We have about 30 odd minutes to go. Let's get started by putting out some figures of an election that is currently underway in Telangana as well as in Rajasthan, because there is sparklingly good news coming out of Telangana of the numbers of people that are coming out to cast their votes. It's almost unprecedented. Uday, help us put those figures together.
Well, absolutely, Rishabh. Literally minutes to go before polls close, and let's get you a sense of how the voter turnout today has looked like. It has, of course, been substantially high, steady voting through the day. So Telangana, of course, remember last time when elections happened in 2014 had a 72% turnout. Now, as far as voting is concerned, today till 3 p.m., Rishabh, it stands at 56.17%. So perhaps poised to actually cross 72% that it was last time around. Remember, this is of course correct till 3 p.m. So 2 more hours of polling, perhaps it will be crossing 72%, and that's an interesting sign. Yeah, let's go straight across now to Rajasthan. Rajasthan also, we've got the figures till 3 p.m. which is also substantially high, 60%. Overall standing of Rajasthan till 3 p.m. 75.67% was what it was in 2013. So that's also poised to cross what it stood at last time around. So interestingly, both states, Rishabh, the turnout is actually going to be higher than it was last time.
Just remind us about the other states also, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Mizoram.
Absolutely. Let's show you how the voter turnout, of course, was in Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh also had a bumper voting of 74.61%. That was higher than the last voting, which stood at 72.66% in 2013. An interesting trend there. Let's show you now Chhattisgarh, if we can, the next state where voter turnout also was in 2 phases. Remember, 76.35%, just about marginally lower than last time, 77.40%. So interestingly, Rishabh, in actually 3 of these 4 states, we've seen the voter turnout go higher than last time. Is that a sign that the incumbent is going to be voted out? Well, we're not quite sure about that, but perhaps the exit poll numbers will declare that.
2 phases of votes in Chhattisgarh, and there has been a remarkably high voter turnout. Telangana is expected to really rocket today. Rajasthan is going to rocket 60% by 3 p.m. Polls generally get extended a bit, so past 5, easily crossing 70% and plus. So let me quickly introduce our panel as we're building up to this poll. Shehadri Chari is joining us from Mumbai. Pankaj Vohra, the editor of the Sunday Guardian, joining us in our studio just a bit. Priya Sahgal, our senior executive editor, is with us. Professor Nalapat, the editorial director of the Sunday Guardian. Kalyani Shankar, a senior journalist. Vinit Goenka, representing the Bharatiya Janata Party, and Pallavi Sharma of the Congress, all in our studios. Let's put them on the spot. Priya Sahgal, we are expecting results of the exit poll at least in a short while from now, and I know the politicians one way or the other are going to curse us on Tuesday, but as of now that's what the anticipation is. Put your neck out. What's happening? What do you predict?
Okay, since so far from what I can understand is, I think the key states are Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh. So in that sense, I see the Congress ahead in Madhya Pradesh, winning Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan. Chhattisgarh is a hung house. Telangana, I'm seeing TRS, and Mizoram, I'm afraid I've not watched too closely.
Okay, these are okay personal opinions, personal predictions, and we'll call them out on the exit poll as well as on the final day. And this is a guesstimation that all of us make. And come on, we Indians love to speculate about everything. Weather is one thing, politics is the other, and of course those of you who should not be betting but do, you speculate on that also. Let me quickly hit the ground before I come to the rest of our guests. Where the battle is going on in Jodhpur, Brajesh, my colleague, is standing by. Mugilan is now in Hyderabad, where Telangana is seeing a record voter turnouts. Jodhpur first, Brajesh, you've been speaking with not only the BJP people, you had a conversation, a long chat with Ashok Gehlot. What's the flavor within the parties? Are they looking concerned? Are they a bit edgy? Who's seeming more confident as you see it?
Well, it's a mixed bag as far as the Congress party is concerned, and an extremely confident BJP, if I may say so, because, in the last 15-20 days, the BJP has been striking an extremely confident note, and they have even gone to the extent of saying that the real surprise which will come on 11th is going to be from Rajasthan. And this is one view, not to the extent which the BJP takes, is also kind of shared by the Congress party when they say that, after ticket distribution, there is a shadow of doubt on seats as much as 30, which can play an extremely crucial role. The Congress party is saying that, come what may, we will win Rajasthan, but it is the margin which might add a wrinkle or two as far as the Congress party is concerned. The BJP feels that post-ticket distribution, the number of rebels and the potent rebels which are there in the Congress side may do damage to at least 30 plus seats, which is music to the ears of the BJP.
Okay, this is going to be exciting, Brajesh. Let me hit the ground in Hyderabad, just get a word from Mugilan of what's happening there on the ground. What's the flavor? Is the sheer number of people, Mugilan, who've really come out and vote in all these states has been better than last time, almost barring none. Even Chhattisgarh matched it in both the phases. What's the flavor that you're getting on the ground? You've been speaking to voters the entire day. What have they been telling you? What are the issues that they've been voting for?
Definitely, because this time the numbers, that is the turnaround of people for voting, has become debatable here in Telangana. Till 3 p.m. it is 56.19 is the official number, and in another matter of minutes we will be getting the update about 4 p.m. But as the pro-incumbent wave, and he feels that the surge in the number of voter turnaround is favoring the pro-incumbent, that is the sitting government.
That's the pitch. What are the people telling you on the ground? What are they voting for, even if they haven't told you who they're voting for?
An agrarian-driven state, we have definitely, because the people feel, most of the people who we met since morning feel that the TRS government has almost kept their promise on the agrarian sector. As I said earlier, Telangana being a very agrarian-driven state, the farmers here in the state of Telangana feels that the ruling TRS government has kept most of its promises when it comes to various schemes where the farmers standing benefited. Yes, there is a urban population, but the urban population here in Telangana is a very small chunk. So the farmers here in Tamil Nadu, in Telangana feel satisfied and okay with the governance here.
They've been certainly over the past 4-5 months. I mean, everything from salary hikes for teachers to SOPs and freebies. If KCR does return, he's going to have to come back and figure out how to pay for them in a state that's not doing too well. But if that has had a positive flavor, well, good for him. The politics is about winning power in the end. Let me quickly open this up to a larger conversation. Shashadri Chari, if you're hearing my voice, what do you think the issue was? What was the fundamental cause? Was there some thread that we take across these 5 states? Was this a semi-final like we keep discussing in our studios? Or the narrative that has been prevalent in national politics, Mandir, Augusta, Rafael, do you think these played any role at all?
No, very unfortunately, this could have been called a semi-final, but going by the issues that have been raised in this issue, in these elections, state elections, they are all national issues. And people in the states like Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Telangana and even in Mizoram are not going to vote for Rafale deal, they are not going to vote for Augusta, they are not going to vote for CBI versus CBI, they are not going to vote for any of these issues. At the most, the only national issue that could probably touch some of the voter base, especially in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, are some of the economic issues like demonetization or GST to some extent. Beyond that, these national issues are not being voted for in the states. But unfortunately, none of the two major political parties, the Congress and the BJP, raised the local issues. So except for to some extent Telangana,
I think that's
issues have
that's
not
the fascinating
been discussed.
thread. And of course, we'll have at least perhaps the next 3 or 4 months to be discussing it, Adrichari. If you just pardon the interjection, let me take it to Professor Nalapat. Professor Nalapat, let's just set it up. Because you had two principal national leaders, the number one being Narendra Modi, who was campaigning aggressively in all these states, as he always does. And I won't say the entire, but a large part of what he was saying was a larger national narrative. The same applied, of course, to Rahul Gandhi, who's everywhere he could think of, including Chhattisgarh. He was talking about Rafale deal. Locally, these were not the issues. Not a single voter, and I've been sitting here and listening to them now for the past 3 weeks, mention any of these issues. Was that dichotomy between campaigning for 2019 and campaigning for the states, was a trick missed?
Well, I'd like to say that our country today, the central government has a lot of influence, the state government has a lot of influence. So from that point of view, national and regional issues have an influence even in local elections.
Okay.
And secondly, with the spread of social media, there's much more awareness, down to, for example, the village level. Today, people at the village level are participating on talk shows on television. They're participating in chat forums, on social media. So I would say that there is a pervasive kind of influence of national events also on the local mind.
Okay.
And I think that's, we cannot discount that.
Okay, let's put more people on the spot. Kalyani Shankar, how are you calling it? What's your prediction?
My prediction of all the 5 states are 2 states.
Any ma'am, take a leap.
Well, I would say that Rajasthan definitely Congress is winning.
Okay.
Going by the reports from the ground.
Okay.
And then Telangana also, I'll stick my neck out and say that since the way you are saying that many voters have come out to vote, conventional wisdom is the more number of voters come in, that means it's a kind of setback for the incumbent government.
Okay.
So I would say Telangana also.
Okay.
Chhattisgarh, you have yourself given 2.
Ma'am, of course, we have to discuss that in a bit, obviously, right? Yeah, at 5:30, yes.
Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, as of now, they say it's 50-50. 50-50 could mean edge for Congress. So in all,
so
I think
you're
Congress
giving the
seems
edge
to
to
be,
the, you're giving to the edge to the Congress. I know Vinit
Yes.
Goenka is very quietly sitting, and he's going to pull out all that they've done and how all these polls have got it wrong in the past, and how the BJP, look what happened in UP and whatnot. Vinit, I'm going to come to you this way. Professor, I'm just going to just quickly. I just want to quickly just hit the ground, and then I also want to invite Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi into this conversation before I get into the politicians. Brijesh, if you're still with me, there is you've been in Delhi speaking to the lot of the senior leadership of the BJP, not always on camera. Now you hit the ground, you've been to the states where the tone and tenor is different. Has there been a mismatch from what the issues in Delhi have been and what the issues in the state have been?
Well, kind of, yes. I mean, the kind of importance we have given to the issue of Rafale, I didn't find almost zero resonance on the ground, because many people were kind of befuddled as to they didn't know what Rafale was, and especially Christian Michel. I spoke to at least 30-35 voters and asked them that that they have any idea about Christian Michel and that he has been extradited.
Okay.
They were completely puzzled. Only one of them had an idea, and he had no idea that this issue is related to Congress, or the Prime Minister is trying to hit out the Congress.
Okay.
So I guess one eye-opener was that the issues which we think matters most in Delhi.
Yeah, you and I, Brijesh,
times,
we do less Agusta and Rafale debates, obviously,
whatsoever on the ground.
Okay, just stay with me. Let me quickly rope in Pankaj Vohra also. Mr. Vohra, stick your neck out. Where do you think it's going?
I think the Congress is an edge in all the 3 states which were, governed by the BJP. Madhya Pradesh is the closest, and if the BJP loses Madhya Pradesh, it is 100% going to lose the other two states also.
Okay, so Madhya Pradesh is the litmus because Shivra should have had the greatest stronghold.
That is the only state where the two are very closely poised, and Congress I think should be around 110, and BJP should be also around the same numbers, 5 or 10 seats up and down.
All right, just let's set it up. Let's quickly pull in Union Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Naqvi, good evening to you. We are still waiting, of course, for the exit poll data to come out. But if I can just put a question to you to set this up. When we talk about corruption free, and several voters on the ground have been telling us the corruption in scams are certainly an issue, maybe not Rafael Agusta types. How is that corruption free going to come, sir? Because we had hardly seen any action taken in people paying the price for corruption.
Hello. तेलंगाना में एक कंपटीशन मैंने देखा, मैं वहाँ पे कैंपेन किया मैंने कई बार, तो मैंने वहाँ देखा कि वो कोटे के लोटे से आरक्षण की अफीम पिलाने का एक कंपटीशन चल रहा है, और जो लोग इस कंपटीशन में लगे हैं उनको भी इस बात का एहसास है, वो जानते हैं कि धर्म के नाम पर किसी भी तरह के आरक्षण की व्यवस्था को संविधान ने मंजूरी नहीं दी है। वो ये भी जानते हैं कि ये जो शगुफा उन्होंने छेड़ा है उस शगुफे से कोई फायदा उनका होने वाला नहीं है। उससे भी इम्पोर्टेंट है कि कुछ लोगों ने वहां पर सांप्रदायिक वोटों की नीलामी का सेंटर खोल रखा है, जहां पर सेकुलरिज्म के सियासी सुरमा लाइन लगा करके वोटों की खरीद फरोख्त में हिस्सेदारी भागीदारी करते हैं।
अच्छा,
लेकिन ये सारा के सारी चीजें लोगों के बीच सामने एक्सपोज हो चुकी हैं। लोग जो रियल इश्यूज हैं उन
नकवी साहब आप रियल इश्यूज बोल रहे हैं, बिकॉज चलो अब राजस्थान की अगर बात करें, राजस्थान में हर 5 साल सरकार बदलती है। लोग गहलोत जी से हम बात कर रहे थे, वो कह रहे थे हमसे मत पूछो सीएम कौन बनेगा, पूछिए कि बीजेपी राजे को चाहती है या ना चाहती है। इसमें जो काम किया गया है बीजेपी सरकार ने, क्या आप सहमत हैं कि काफी काम कर दिया? वही वोटिंग इशू था कि बीजेपी सरकार का काम 5 साल का?
ये एंटी इनकम्बेंसी और ये सब सारी चीजें जो है वो एक्सपायर फार्मूले हो गए हैं। अभी ये सब चीजें नहीं चलती हैं। ये तो लोग कहते थे ये एंटी इनकम्बेंसी है, ये 5 साल सरकार चल गई, 10 साल चल गई तो अब हटना ही हटना है। ऐसा नहीं होता। अगर सरकार ने अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस किया है, लोगों के सरोकार के प्रति समर्पित भाव से काम किया है, तो उसके बाद वो 10 साल भी चल सकती है, 15 साल भी चल सकती है, 20 साल भी चल सकती है, 25 साल भी चल सकती है, आगे भी चल सकती है।
ओके,
हाँ, अगर आपने अच्छा काम नहीं किया है तो 5 साल में ही लोग हटा देते हैं। तो ये इनकम्बेंसी के कारण कोई हट जाएगा ये गारंटी है, तो ये मैं मानता हूँ।
टेस्ट के क्या काम करा नकवी साहब, मुझे पता आपको जाना है। तेलंगाना में आपने कहा है कि ये फेक सेक्युलरिज्म की जो पॉलिटिक्स चल रही है, तो तेलंगाना में आप क्या पॉलिटिक्स लाना चाह रहे हैं? तो हमारी बातचीत तो चली है कि निजाम है, गुलाम है, हैदराबाद का नाम बदल दो, तो नई पॉलिटिक्स क्या आएगी आपकी तरफ से?
भारतीय जनता पार्टी नौजवानों के रोजगार के मुद्दे को लेकर के, वहां के विकास के मुद्दे को लेकर के, अच्छे गवर्नेंस, गुड गवर्नेंस के मुद्दे को लेकर के, और किसान, महिलाएं, नौजवान, इन तमाम लोगों के सरोकार को लेकर के चुनाव के मैदान में थी।
ओके,
एक तरफ जो है वो कांग्रेस पार्टी, टीआरएस और भी पार्टियां जो है वो कम्युनल कंपटीशन कर रही थी कि कौन सबसे बड़ा जो है सेकुलरिज्म का सियासी सूरमा हो। वहां की स्थिति तो ये थी कि सेकुलरिज्म का चोला और कम्युनलिज्म का झोला ये पहन करके लोग घूमते दिखाई पड़े हमको। लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी बिल्कुल स्पष्ट तरीके से समाज में समावेशी विकास, इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ, सर्वस्पर्शी विकास के मुद्दे को लेकर गई, और ये चुनाव थोड़ा डिफरेंट
मुख्तार अब्बास नकवी,
निश्चित तौर से भारतीय जनता पार्टी।
Okay, sir, I appreciate your time. I know I've got to let you go. Thank you for coming us, joining us on NewsX. Let me quickly rope in now the Congress. Pallavi, you heard it, Jhola, all Jhola, secularism ka Jhola.
See, Rishabh, first just let me point out that these exit polls, of course, are not a short view of what is going to happen on the ground, but respecting all the panelists.
Okay, I'll tell you what's different.
And whatever
the Congress, for the past 4 years, has hated to be an exit poll or poll panel. At least you guys are here today, so hopefully you're hoping that they're going to be better. I'll take a sign in that.
Can I just?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you. But respecting all the panelists here, what they said, they see victory for Congress in all the three major states. The two states that they are ignoring is one, if I correctly recollect what
well,
they said,
Mizoram
is Telangana.
Yeah, Telangana is big.
And Mizoram, they're not talking about Mizoram,
obviously,
we already have the government there, right?
I don't think the BJP
now
is claiming
Telangana, one second. Telangana, I don't see why you see TRS or KCR winning there. 17,000 crore was the debt of the on Telangana state when KCR came. It increased to 2.2 lakh. One second, there's a famous poet. There's a famous poet and a political stalwart also, Kalonji Roy, and he says a famous couplet. He says, "If our own deceives us, we throw him out. If somebody from the outside deceives, somebody from the outside deceives us, an outsider deceives us, we throw him out. If one of our own deceives us, we vote him out." So that is what is going to happen with KCR this time.
Now Vinit Goenka needs to come up with a few couplets. Okay, Madhav Nalapat, we wanted to come in, so go ahead.
Look, I just want to say that I think it's going to be very important if KCR can hang on to the minority vote. Because if the minority vote goes to the Congress side,
it's not going to Owaisi.
Owaisi didn't do very much, frankly, against Lalu in Bihar. He was not very effective at splitting the minority vote.
He's only contesting what, 7, 8?
Barring Hyderabad, I'm not very sure how effective Owaisi is. So if you have a minority consolidation in favor of the Congress and the Congress front, I think that it is still minority vote. A victory for that.
Okay.
No, let me point
Why don't you come in and let's give Vinit a chance? Yes.
Rishabh, in Hyderabad, it's always been a polarization between the BJP and the Majlis. So they had always won, even BJP.
They've played narrative domination, discourse domination really well.
I'm only telling
between
you
Yogi, Shah, Owaisi, I mean, they know how to talk and make sure they give us the right debate points to discuss, even though the voting issues might be different. Okay, Vinit Goenka, you have a couplet for us?
One line through Pallavi ji to Rahul Gandhi ji. अभी जो एक्चुअली सोता है उसको तो उठा सकते हैं, लेकिन जो सोने का ढोंग करता है उसको क्या कर सकते हैं? So probably Congress has to don't have to wake up because they are actually awake, but they don't know that things are different in all the three states, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. We are coming back.
Vinit Goenka, eventually, I mean, if you had an unbelievable run for 4 years, I'll compare you an unbelievable run for 4 years. I mean, eventually it goes sour, right? There are some law of averages that do apply to all of us. And if it goes sour, do you have a benchmark which you will be satisfied with?
Yeah, for example, in Madhya Pradesh, we had 165 out of 230.
Yes.
And this has been 15th consecutive years. So if 1 or 2 seats here and there, I would not have any personal...
1 or 2 seats is your benchmark.
Okay. I'll tell you whether, because I have been listening to this laughter always in all the polls, exit polls, even before the UP and other.
No, I don't think anybody's been laughing at the BJP for the past 4 years.
So,
at their own peril, of course. Shashadri Chari quickly wants to come in. Let's give quick words and I'll take a break and we'll come back with hard with the numbers. Shashadri Chari, quickly, sir.
Yeah, hello.
Mr. Chari, you can hear me? Okay, I'm presuming not. We'll get that audio connection sorted out. I'm going to take a hard break. We come back with the numbers and then we open it up with something really meaty to discuss. 5:30 is the cutoff time. The break ends in 2.5 minutes from now. See you in that amount. Okay, welcome back. 4.5 minutes on the clock when these numbers on your screen start changing away from the 0-0. Trust us, somebody's going to win something or the other. If they're all winning 0, then that's going to be a bad sign, probably a technical error on our part. So we've got 4 minutes to really build this up. I was trying to open Shashadri Chari. Let me see if he's back with us and if he can hear us. Mr. Chari, we were talking about the issues. Now let's talk about the consequences. What do these election results actually going to stand for? Are they going to be a momentum decider for 2019?
Of course, obviously, very, very obvious, because these elections are coming very close to the 2019 elections. So this effect of 2018 assembly elections will be there. Some of the constituencies, that is the parliamentary constituencies where which forms the assembly segment, we will have to see how many votes, how many seats have gone to the BJP, how many seats have gone to the Congress, and these figures of course will play an important role. But I think in the 2019 elections again, the issues are going to be very important. Unlike 2018 assembly elections, where national issues were discussed in the state assemblies, But the people are not going to vote for national issues. People are going to vote
the
for
issues are going to be important.
Local issues.
Okay, let me just get a flavor. Pankaj Vohra is just crossing the finish line, regardless of issue, no matter what happened. Kaise bhi bas ban gaye. Does that have a really strong nodal symbolic value also?
Well, the thing is that there are 2 or 3 things. You know, like for instance in Madhya Pradesh, the projection is that the Congress will get 112 and BJP will get...
Yeah, we'll be talking about projection.
And you know, others will be much more than that.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is that if BJP does not get the magic figure on its own, then if you look at it from the democracy's point of view, then BJP does not have the mandate. It may still form the government, it's another thing, by, you know, buying up or, you know, conjuring up the majority. But it has lost the mandate.
You at least made Pallavi happy with that.
It has lost the mandate.
Lost the mandate potentially. But I just put that the question across. Professor Nalapat, just the fact of a victory or a loss, whether it be by 1 or by 2, does it have some sort of confidence? Because come on, the Congress has been battered and battered and battered and battered and battered. I mean, will be the clasping at straws if they get 1 or 2 back?
Actually, Rishabh, my view was Congress made a strategic error in not going in for an alliance with Samajwadi Party and BSP in the 3 states. Frankly, you know, I mean, if they had done that, I would have been completely certain of Congress doing extremely well in these 3 states. Now, the problem was that the Congress thought it was very strong in Rajasthan, it's very much stronger in the other 2 states, so there's no need to do it. Now, had they done so, frankly, had there been a little more, if I may say so, generosity on the part of the Congress party, I would have confidently said here they would do extremely well.
It's only hubris if you fail. And if they fail, then yes, they got it wrong. We'll finally know on Tuesday, but we'll have an indication of that.
Even the extent of success.
Frankly. Okay. 60 seconds. Quickly, Priya, just come in on this. Is there a symbolic thing to be gained? Of course, there's analysis and what happened and what the issue is. Symbolic. We won 2 states, no matter which part.
Huge, you know, especially more for the Congress than the BJP. Congress under Rahul Gandhi badly needs a win. He's not got a win so far. Nearly winning
Karnataka doesn't technically qualify.
Nearly winning Gujarat is not enough. Karnataka technically doesn't qualify. So he needs a win, and here there is a straight fight between the BJP and the Congress. What better win for the Congress than in a state like this?
30 seconds.
Either of the states.
Okay, 30 seconds. Kalyani Shankar, 30 seconds we got.
Well, I would say that if the Congress, all that Congress has to do is to win 1 state, not even 2 states or 3 states.
One is enough to put a badge on and say, yeah, bring it on.
No, Rishabh, listen to me. Why I am saying is that Modi has to win at least majority of the states, whereas the Congress winning 1 state can say, oh, we have done better.
Either way, he's sitting on 18 or 19 or something like that, right?
Okay.
So what's your measure? We got literally 36 seconds. What's your measure, Vinit Goenka, of momentum? Is the measure the past 3 years, or should the measure be the past 3 months before the election?
We're going to be happy post the counting is done.
Okay.
We're going to be very, very happy.
Okay, you're looking happy right now. So rest of us are happy. Elections, election time. People are watching. This is what we live for as journalists. Okay, here we are. We've got a 10-second countdown now for the first 2 states. I'm being told that we can give you data for. Well, there we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's get the 2 states out. We have got data of our exit polls. From Madhya Pradesh, on the top of your screen there, has turned away from 000, so that's the prediction from Madhya Pradesh. 106, 112, 12. So 106 for the BJP. That would be about 50 odd seats down from last time is the exit poll prediction there. The Congress, a big gainer, up 50, 112. The halfway mark is 116, so potentially still short of a majority, and there'll be 12 others, in which I'm presuming a couple here and there will be Mayawati potentially, just what Professor Nalapat was putting out. Can we get the Rajasthan figure also out, please, at the bottom of our screens? And let me rope in my colleague Uday, just take us through the numbers.
Well, absolutely, Rishabh. It is 5:30 now, and it's time to reveal all the details of the Neta exit poll on NewsX, and we are beginning with the state of Madhya Pradesh. Well, Madhya Pradesh is going to be a hung house according to the Neta exit poll, but the Congress party is going to be the single largest party at 112. They've gone up 54 seats, but they are just 4 seats short of the halfway mark of 116. The BJP not too far back, but certainly some anti-incumbency for Shivraj Singh Chauhan. sees their tally going down almost 60 seats. They stand at 106 and others is at 12. I've been told that BSPs, about 4 of these seats are BSPs. So obviously others become the kingmaker. Others will decide whether it will be the Congress and the BJP. But the Congress, of course,
let's have a look. Telangana, Chhattisgarh. There we go on your screen, on the top right of your screen. Chhattisgarh, let's take us through it.
Absolutely. Let's go straight across to the Chhattisgarh numbers now. Chhattisgarh, is it going to be BJP or Congress? Well, it's a hung house once again, Rishabh. Yes, the BJP, not too much anti-incumbency for Raman Singh, even after 15 years in power, just down 6 seats. 3 seats short of that halfway mark of 46. Okay. They stand at 43. Congress just short at 40, but others going to be the kingmaker again.
Okay,
that's
fascinating. The others would of course again include Jogi and Mayawati over there, and we put that breakup on our screens in just a bit also. So there you have it. Out of the 5 states, if you look at the top, you have Madhya Pradesh. That's the exit poll prediction. Chhattisgarh is on the right side of your screens at the top. Again, the BJP is down 6 potentially. The Congress has gained only 1. The BSP and Jogi potentially gain 4 or 5. Get kingmaker, potential kingmaker status. Allowed to use those caveats for the next few hours. Professor Nalapat, what's your first thought?
Well, I'd like to say, talking about Chhattisgarh, we cannot discount the Naxal factor. And there are a significant number of seats where they're really influential. You've seen in your own exit poll, 20%, I mean half the votes going to BJP and Congress has gone to the others. Now this is obviously Mayawati plus Ajit Jogi. Now in my view of these 3 groups, the Naxal groups will certainly prefer the third group. And in that situation I'd like to say, I think that vote would have been significant, and that vote would have also, in my view, hurt the BJP more than the Congress.
Okay, quickly, Pankaj Vohra, what do you make of the 2 figures? MP closer to a Congress victory. Somebody say that's surprising. Of course, you've been telling us completely the opposite. Chhattisgarh, Raman Singh, it doesn't look like an anti-Raman Singh wave. He's potentially, as per this exit poll, still holding a majority, as single largest party at least.
So Chhattisgarh, was always expected to be very close, and it is not surprising that BJP is ahead of the Congress in this as per the exit polls. However, the story will lie in the others. Mr. Ajit Jogi, for instance, has not said anything against the Congress, and Congress has not said anything against Ajit Jogi. There could be a matrimony on cards in the future. So the chances of the others going towards the Congress is much higher than their
going towards the BJP. Mayawati BJP looks
and similarly in Madhya Pradesh also, the others, the mandate, BJP has lost the mandate in case if the figures are correct, and it is at 106.
Okay.
So if it forms the government, it will be not with Shivraj Singh Chauhan as
the scale was here 160 to about 60 odd. The scale was that much, and it's come here. Now we'll discuss what that means. It has not gone like this. What that means. Jadri Chari, of his first thoughts, 106 BJP and MP, Congress 112, others 12, 43 Chhattisgarh, Congress 47 others. Both states short of a halfway mark, both the parties. These are exit polls of course, but what's your pulse on this?
Yeah, but I think Chhattisgarh is not much of a shocker. Of course, Chhattisgarh, the BJP has to catch up. And I'm sure the BJP will do it. But as far as the Congress is concerned, it's the same. It had 39 seats. Now, if it is able to maintain those 39 seats, I think the situation has not changed. What has probably affected the Chhattisgarh election is Ajit Jogi factor. So I heard somebody saying that probably Ajit Jogi could join hands with the Congress, but I don't think so. I think if the need be, Ajit Jogi would probably side with the BJP and not with the Congress.
Okay,
that's what I think. Okay, but I don't think that will be necessary because I think the BJP will be able to make up this. Of course, we are all talking.
Yeah, we'll find out Tuesday. Obviously,
we'll
find out Tuesday. And Chhattisgarh last time was decided by under 1% of the vote. So you can imagine across seats, you're talking about hundreds of votes per seat. That was a deciding factor. That's why exit polls in Chhattisgarh become a lot more difficult for that obvious reason. Brijesh Pandey, my colleague in Jodhpur. We are waiting the Rajasthan figures for the obvious reasons that Rajasthan, the exit poll is happening right now, and in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, it happened a few days ago. Brijesh, it's not thrilling news if the exit polls even come close to what happens on the 11th for the Bharatiya Janata Party. What is the moral victory here potentially?
Well, I mean, there's no moral victory in the loss. So I think, it's victory or defeat. And the only lesson which the BJP can learn from here, if it goes as far exit polls, is that, that they should also encourage some sort of a state center partnership. Because, I mean, they were not, the states were not too overtly thrilled at the micromanagement or of the entire election campaign by the center. And, I mean, all these people who were sent by center was not too enthusiastic or not too very hopeful of a landslide or a kind of victory they had seen in the previous assembly election. We have been talking to them. They all predicted a BJP victory, of course, but they also were saying that it was too close for comfort as far as the BJP is concerned. So I think this is one scenario which they would definitely want to avoid. And I think Chhattisgarh is too close to call because I mean 2 seats here or there, and the BJP can.
And those 2 seats are going to be decided by a few hundred votes. Brijesh, we'll let you go. I know you need to catch up with a few of the people there to get the reactions post the exit poll. So we'll let you go. Thanks for your input and your coverage right through this morning. Brijesh was in conversation with Ashok Gehlot a short while ago. Before I come to the political guests, let me quickly rope in Priya. Just what's your first take?
My first take, I think I'm going with these exit polls really. It does show the Congress is ahead in Madhya Pradesh, and even the BJP leaders that we've been speaking to, there is, that look of earlier is missing. There's not that gloating look. It's not that we are sure we are going to be sweeping. They are saying off record, look, Madhya Pradesh is going to be a close fight.
Okay, you're going to get some gloating and boasting right now.
Yeah, he's going to gloat just to make up for the non-gloating.
Okay.
The body language of the BJP also is not the same as it was earlier. Congress is hopeful after a long time, and if actually if they don't win this, it's like a self-goal if the Congress doesn't win.
It is whether you win by 1 point or 1 run or 1 wicket doesn't make a difference, right? A win is a win. I agree with that. But is there, the Congress made a big deal about claiming moral victories in Gujarat. We remember that.
Yes.
Right? That, they've been learned, they won, but they had to, claim that I'm son of the soil and then look, our seats have gone up. Is there moral victories here to be found?
Moral victory, the fact is that the Congress cannot claim moral victory. If the Congress loses, then it'll I think.
Okay, but what does the BJP say? I mean, it has not gone from here to here. Right? It has gone from here to...
BJP saying it's anti-incumbency at the end of the day. We've been in power for 15 years in one state, 5 years. Rajasthan always, does musical chairs with government. So BJP's got its arguments ready also.
Kalyani Shankar, I'm looking at the vote share here according to your vote.
Okay, just hold on. I'm going to put the vote share on our screen, then let's talk about it. Uday, are you with us? Uday, okay, let's talk about vote share, then we come back to Kalyani Shankar. Let's have a look at the vote share.
We've put out, of course, the seat share projections of this Neta exit poll, Rishabh, for Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. Let's show you the vote share and the swings first for Chhattisgarh. So the vote share prediction right now is, as we said earlier, neck to neck. The BJP, of course, 41% vote share in the lead there, and the Congress comes in second at 40%. Others is at 20%. So obviously Ajit Jogi and Mayawati taking a substantial amount of that vote share. They are going to be a decisive factor if this exit poll does come out to be true. If we can go across to the next slide now for the vote share for Madhya Pradesh. The vote share for Madhya Pradesh is, of course, in favor of the Congress party, but just marginally once again. Remember,
wow, that's interesting.
It's 43%, 42%, and 15%. So literally neck to neck, Rishabh, in both cases.
If you've been doing the math at home and wondering why Chhattisgarh is totaling 101%, is because the BJP figure has been rounded up a couple of decimal points and the Congress figure rounded down. So that means the vote share difference is less than maybe 0.5%. In those 3 seats, and literally that's in Chhattisgarh, that's hundreds of votes. You're not even talking thousands of votes. I think we've seen one election in the past in which the candidate and his wife didn't vote and lost by 2 votes.
That's right. No, his daughter and wife.
Yeah, daughter and CP Joshi. So these things do happen, believe it or not, in politics. Madhya Pradesh is interesting because the vote share gap in 2013 was a lot different than it is now. Kalyani Shankar, sorry, you're making a point.
Well, I was making a point. See, vote share in both these states had always been very, very narrow. And look at what happens in Chhattisgarh here. For BJP 41%, Congress 40%. And last time BJP was 41% and Congress was 40%. It's more or less the same. And then where this discrepancy has come, we'll have to see. As you say, maybe Mayawati, maybe Jogi, maybe somebody else.
First of all, welcome to positive exit polls, Pallavi ji. It must be a happy sight at least, so that you can't say then dismiss them in first hand. What's your first take? And then I'll let Vinit also do some gloating and boasting and say this is all trash.
No, Rishabh, Congress has always followed the tradition of not participating in the exit polls, and it has rightly done so. See,
so why you
no,
change tradition
why?
now?
She's, let me say why. No, let me answer. No, let not anything be jane do. Since I'm here to answer on my party's behalf, I'll gladly take that and answer. You see, in the Punjab elections, the entire exit poll said that it's going to be a hung house and Aam Aadmi Party and Congress will have to do a tie-up. But we all saw what the result was. So, that is the...
Poor Aam Aadmi Party, what do we say?
No. You said why the Congress does not believe in exit polls. It's because most of them aren't accurate.
Are you more confident today?
Most of them aren't accurate.
Are you happier
yes,
today?
we're confident today and we're sure we'll mark a majority win in all the 5 states.
Okay.
Coming to the to what Professor was just saying right now, he was saying the Mayawati that we should have offered her a vote share and we should have tied up and been in alliance with her.
Yeah.
See, the Congress party has categorically come out and spoken about it. Today I'm making it again clear on behalf of my party. We were in talks with BSP. There's no denying that. We were in talks with their leadership. We were having talks now in a state where you have never crossed the double-digit mark. If you ask for 60 odd seats, that cannot be given to you. You have to realize that, right?
What was the issue? Was the issue about winning because you
No, I'm telling you the issue.
You were willing to sacrifice in Karnataka.
No, I'm telling you the issue.
You were willing to sacrifice in Bihar, but of course you were the number 3 party.
I'm telling you the
Why
issue.
not sacrifice
Just give me 5 seconds more. I'm telling you the issue. The issue was in a state like Madhya Pradesh where you've never crossed the double-digit mark. If you ask for some 60 odd seats, of course the Congress party is not going to set it out in a platter and give it to you.
Now let me do my job and ask you the tough questions. Is there, and this is a precedent set by you guys in Gujarat, the fact is that the exit poll says, and we're going by this now for argument's sake, and of course we'll have a separate conversation on the 11th, and the exit poll says that there is a change. It's been 15 years. In Chhattisgarh, is literally, honestly, this is too close to call. I don't think we predict to win on the basis of this. But the change is not dramatic. If 100 plus is what the BJP is still pulling out, this is not some massive anti-incumbency wave that is sweeping through the country. Pallavi?
I'm sorry, I didn't get your
question. Do you not? I mean, there's a change certainly, but the change is not dramatic. It's not 160 to 50.
No, that's what your exit. Then again, I'll say that's what your exit polls are predicting. What I am saying is we are expecting a majority sweep.
60-70 seats off. Then that's a different level of exit poll getting it wrong.
We are expecting a majority sweep in all the 5 states, especially the 3 states.
But my question was different. My question was different. Do the same standards hold? That if you have a decent performance, that also counts in politics.
That is what I'm saying. No. See, what I'm trying to say is we did not bank on the anti-incumbency factor. What we were banking on was the miserable and pathetic work that BJP had done and what Congress was willing to offer in exchange.
Elections are over.
What Congress was willing to offer in exchange.
Now we are talking about what happened next.
So anti-incumbency is not the only factor that we were banking on. It was our effort that we put in.
Vinit has very patiently held his peace. He's very patiently held his peace.
The groundwork that Congress party had done in Rajasthan from day one.
Vinit Goenka, I know you're going to disagree with what these figures are. But in a larger assessment, you can't win everything all the time, right? You have a bigger game, certainly in 2019. How is the absorption of this, no matter what happens, how is the absorption of this going to happen in the party?
No, I'll tell you my personal understanding, whatever I have seen in the ground, and also the inputs which we have got. We are coming back in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and also Rajasthan. And Rajasthan, this will be the first time when the musical chair will have a different result. And take my words for that. And don't be surprised if we get good numbers in Telangana and 1 or 2 seats in Mizoram also. Because there are 2 things which I will specifically mention.
Yes.
A very, very firm leadership on the center which we have not seen for the last 70 years. A good performance by Shivraj ji and also by Raman Singh ji. In Rajasthan, there is no leadership from Congress. So the face which was being given by Congress was not been...
But when the BJP does not have a face in Maharashtra, when the BJP does not have a face in
Let me do the
UP,
counter question.
that's Chanakya strategy. When the Congress does not have it,
He's heard you out very patiently. Now let's hear him out. Go ahead.
So what I understand is if you see Madhya Pradesh itself, 44.88% which was there last year. Yes, I can agree 1 or 2%, half a percent going here and there. But take my words. The magical midway figure of 115 will be crossed very, very easily. So that's not a tough challenge. Chhattisgarh, we are crossing 50 and you will be surprised. We may get more seats than what last year because the entire work there. See, I was here on your own channel debating with you when the voting actually happened there. I had never seen such a percentage of voting there and such a confident voter in Chhattisgarh, free of fear. And that free of fear gives an installation of confidence in the women flock. And when the women flock is behind you, then I think that the games are different.
Okay, that's the background. So let me just...
And also tell you the role of MNF, MDP and MPC in Mizoram. If you see that, all that makes me confident the look-east policy is going to be very, very positive for us.
So you're hoping to get a couple open your bank account there. Okay, fair enough. Now let me ask you what the question I was asking you. Regardless of what happens, what is the absorption that the BJP now takes away from this for 2019? Is the absorption that what we are doing in terms of our narrative about Christian Michael and Mandir and all this is working, or there's something that we need to be changing?
No, all the three things are good. See, there are basic fundamental progress which has been done and which was not done. Today being the exit poll day, I will not try to go on telling about how many gas connection, but these changes has impacted the kitchen of the family of the voter A. B, on the other side, the international image after Christian Michel was extradited here, that shows our commitment towards corruption-free India. And 3, there is a huge difference between leadership of Congress and BJP. Here in Bharatiya Janata Party, we have a
my question is, you have to absorb these. Okay, you have to absorb. Let me do the counter.
Simple line. The message my leadership has given to me is very simple thing: is keep the good work on.
Okay, but
so whatever good work has been done.
Is there nothing? No course correction is required post this. This is you just carry on with what you do.
You are in a real-time politics. Every incident gives you a learning. Every incident calls for decision making. So it's a dynamic situation always. But what we are doing is, I think, is a good thing. नदी चलती रहती है, थोड़ा बहुत पत्थर के बीच में तो कोई नदी का अपना कोर्स बदल नहीं रहती है.
Is this Vinit Goenka now even more, ever more reliance on Narendra Modi for everything now?
What is wrong? If there is a leadership is very good. His directions, vision are very, very good. And I think we liked, had he been there 10 years or 15 years back, we would have been a different country altogether. Go and ask.
So, okay, no, this is the theory. So this is okay. What's the harm in this? Okay.
If you go to Ranjan Gaon in Chhattisgarh and see the child holding a mobile and connecting to the world, rightly said by Professor Nalapat, the local ham which is working there.
Okay,
that kind of voice
just stay with me. Prabhaja from MP of BJP MP from MP is also joining us on the broadcast. Prabhaja ji, एक minute में आपके पास आ रहे हैं. Quickly, Pallavi, you want to make a counter, then I want to go across.
He said, what is wrong if there's dependence, complete dependence on Narendra Modi? I'll tell you what is wrong.
Complete dependence. He says.
No, you said that's the question you asked him. You said, now does this show that there's even more dependence on Narendra Modi than ever before? So why it is wrong is because then it sets out the narrative that even if your chief ministerial candidates or your party workers are not working in the selected areas in their respective states,
so are you saying
there's one man at the center who's controlling everything.
So are you trying to say
this narrative will be crushed down. It will be crushed now through these 5 states.
But then you can ask the question, is Rahul not at the same level to take on Narendra Modi, which he is not at this point of time. Okay. Hang a second. We know we promise you we'll be doing this jagda for 4 months. Promise you 4 months. Plenty of time to do this jagda. Okay. 1 second. Uday has got something exciting. I don't know because I've been sitting in the studio, but this is the collation of the poll of polls, which is every single poll out there. Let's see how widely they vary. It's going to be very interesting. Have a look. Uday, take it over.
Absolutely, Rishabh. It's time now to get you a poll of polls. Our team has compiled a host of agencies and their predictions first for the state of Chhattisgarh. So let's pull that up and let's see which way Chhattisgarh is going according to all the various surveys of all the various agencies. So Neta, of course, which is the one we put out on NewsX first, showed the BJP at 43, the Congress at 40 and the others at 7. The CNX one, interestingly, has given the BJP majority, single largest majority. 46 is the halfway mark, so they're at 46. Clearly Raman Singh once again over there. The Congress 35, others 9. Jan Ki Baat poll has given the BJP once again a single largest party, but just 2 seats short of majority. The Congress second, 40, and others at 6. So this is quite similar, of course, to the Neta one. And if we take an average, that's 44 for the BJP. So 2 seats short of majority, 38 for the Congress and others.
There is that one poll that brings the average down, and it's the others that are really fluctuating. And you see Jan Ki Baat and you see the Neta poll, they are pretty similar. This is 3 polls right now. There are 2 other agencies doing polls, so we'll have a 5 poll of polls in just a second. Okay, the C voter is one of them. So this is 3 right now, and this is much closer. And Chhattisgarh perhaps was more predictably closer. Across exit polls is also much closer. Now let's have a look at Madhya Pradesh poll of polls. Uday, let's see how much this varies.
Absolutely. Let's go straight across now to the poll of polls for the state of Madhya Pradesh and show you, Rishabh, which way the state is going according to these agencies' predictions. So, of course, the Neta one, we had put out the Congress with single largest majority at 112.
There we go.
The CNX one has actually given the state to the BJP. Interestingly, the halfway mark in Madhya Pradesh are 116. So, CNX predicts the BJP is going to come back with a majority. It's going to be Shivraj Singh Chauhan.
I think that average figure is obviously wrong at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, the average figure is wrong. We'll get that corrected.
Yes,
Obviously, that doesn't make sense.
Interestingly, Rishabh, actually gives the Congress a single largest
let me look at the range.
Two-seat gap.
Let me just look at the range. So we are saying so CNX is predicting a clear out and out BJP victory in Madhya Pradesh, 126 to 89, and of course we are claiming it much closer with the Congress at an advantage, and it is neck to neck in the Axis poll. So it is, I think 116 is the halfway mark in Madhya Pradesh. So it is too short, which means up for anyone. Okay, very interesting. So the at least two exit polls are really close, and one is slightly different, and there are a couple more out there in the broader market, and we come to them. And Uday, I will request you to get our producers to fix that average figure at the bottom of our screens, so that the graphic can fire out also. Okay, here we have polar polls. Let's quickly go across. Professor Nalapat, I've seen in the past couple of years really wild fluctuations in these polls. Here's an example.
Well, I'd like to say, getting back to the point about Prime Minister Modi, the fact is that it's an asset to the BJP to have him, but it's also a problem because in that sense, you really don't bother about the local leadership. In the case of Rajasthan, for example, I mean, my view is that if you had somebody like that Rajyavardhan Rathore, for example, who's a Minister of State in the center, if you put him as your chief ministerial candidate, in my view, the BJP would have had a much better chance of defeating the
Congress. Hang a second. Let me quickly get Prabhaja into the conversation. Prabhaja ji, देखिए मुझे हम सबको पता है ये एग्जिट पोल है, अभी नतीजा तो 11 तारीख को ही आएगा, but Mr. Jha, what is a satisfactory performance जिससे आप खुश होंगे?
देखिए, हम तो अपनी कोशिश करते हैं और हमने जी जान से पूरी पार्टी ने कोशिश की है और पूरी पार्टी को विश्वास है कि हम कंफर्ट मेजॉरिटी में आएंगे। अब एग्जैक्ट पोल को भी हम गलत इसलिए नहीं कहेंगे कि आपका अपना तरीका होता है, हम जमीन पर काम करते हैं और जमीन की सच्चाई ये है कि हमारी अपनी अंतरात्मा कहती है कि हम सरकार बनाएंगे।
प्रभाजा जी, ये जो इलेक्शन हुआ है, ये क्या मध्य प्रदेश के लिए केवल इलेक्शन हुआ है? कुछ इलेक्शन सारी रैलियों में देश की मुद्दों की बात उठाई गई है, चाहे वो मंदिर हो, चाहे वो रफाइल हो कांग्रेस की तरफ से, चाहे वो अगुस्ता हो, ये किसके लिए इलेक्शन हुआ है? ये जो
देखिए, ये इलेक्शन हुआ है मध्य प्रदेश के विकास का या राजस्थान के विकास का या छत्तीसगढ़ के विकास का। कांग्रेस ने इसको कोशिश की है कि इन सब मुद्दों पर लाने की, लेकिन मध्य प्रदेश की, राजस्थान की जनता जानती है कि विकास किसने किया है, उनके घर पर विकास का दिया किसने जलाया है। और हमको भरोसा है जितने भी निम्न श्रेणी, गरीब और मध्यम श्रेणी परिवार के लोग हैं, वो सब भारतीय जनता पार्टी के साथ खड़े दिखे हैं। मैं इतना जानता हूं कि हम बहुत आराम से, मुझे लगता है, हमने जिस तरह से मेहनत की है, उस मेहनत के आधार पर शिवराज सिंह जी की जो पॉपुलरिटी है, नरेंद्र मोदी जी और अमित शाह जी ने कार्यक्रम किए हैं, उन सब के आधार पर एक लाइन में कह सकता हूं कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी चौथी बार सरकार बनाएगी।
ओके, प्रभाजा जी, हार या जीत मोदी जी की या शिवराज जी की?
देखिए, राज्य के चुनाव है, इसमें आप जब हम जीतेंगे तो भी आपको कहेंगे कि मध्य प्रदेश में विकास हुआ है। निश्चित तौर पर आज हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री हैं तो हमारे कैंपेन में आएंगे, लेकिन ये प्रदेश का चुनाव है, ये देश का चुनाव नहीं है। और इसलिए जब नेता हमारे नरेंद्र मोदी हैं तो जीतेंगे तो उनको भी खुशी होगी, लेकिन ये चुनाव मध्य प्रदेश का है, इसलिए हम सब लोग जिम्मेदार होंगे अगर परिणाम अनुकूल नहीं आते हैं। लेकिन ये बात फिर मैं कह रहा हूं, ये क्वेश्चन तब आप कर रहे हैं जब एग्जिट पोल
11 तारीख को जरूर बातचीत करेंगे। और आप सही कह रहे हैं कि एग्जिट पोल है अभी तक। एक दो सवाल और लूंगा प्रभाजा जी आपको आपके जाने से पहले। देश का चुनाव प्रदेश का तो हो गया, अगला तो देश का ही है। इससे हार या जीत सबक क्या?
देखिए, हर जीत से और हर हार से सबक लेते हैं। अभी एग्जैक्ट पोल देखेंगे, आज तक का देखिए, टाइम्स नाउ का देखिए, अपने आप में सब क्लोज फाइट दिखा रहे हैं। हम इतना जानते हैं कि हम देखिए, जनता के बीच में तो हम अपनी बात लेकर गए हैं। अब जनता क्या करेगी ये तो 11 को, लेकिन आप सब लोगों ने बातचीत की है, अभी भी क्लोज फाइट बता रहे हैं। और मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनेगी और 2019 में भी भाजपा की सरकार बनेगी।
ओके, प्रभात झा जी, क्लोज फाइट आप कह रहे हैं, क्लोज फाइट संतुष्टि है या क्लियर विक्ट्री, जो तगड़ी विक्ट्री जो पिछली बारी हुई थी 70, 80, 90 सीटों की विक्ट्री, उससे संतुष्टि ही होगी?
देखिए, अभी जो आप बहस कर रहे हैं, आप अपने एग्जैक्ट पोल पर कर रहे हैं। इसलिए मैंने कहा कि अगर आप क्लोज फाइट, लेकिन हमको तो पूरा भरोसा है कि कंफर्ट मेजोरिटी भारतीय जनता पार्टी को मिलना चाहिए और मिलेगा।
अगर जरूरत पड़ी, प्रभात जी, आखिरी सवाल आपसे, अगर जरूरत पड़ी, चाहे आपके स्टेट में हो 3-4 कमी होगी सीटों की, मायावती को हाथ बढ़ाना या किसी और को, इंडिपेंडेंट को हाथ बढ़ाना, शायद छत्तीसगढ़ में जोगी जी को हाथ बढ़ाना, जरूरत पड़ी तो हाथ बढ़ाने के तैयार हैं आप?
ये देखिए, समय कब कैसा होता है उस समय बात करेंगे। आज तो हम आपको कह सकते हैं, हम अपने अनुभव और मेहनत के आधार पर कह सकते हैं कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी को सब जगह कंफर्ट मेजॉरिटी आएगी। अब परिस्थिति क्या बनेगी वो तो 11 को देखेंगे।
ओके, दैट्स नॉट अ नो, but that's a political answer, and I think he's given as straight political answers that I can expect from a politician. Prabhaja, thank you for joining us and answering those questions in a straightforward fashion. Pankaj Vohra, it might come down to that, and I don't know whether the exit polls are predictably closer. They're a lot closer than even Karnataka, which was the last election, major election we were covering over here. Or the pollsters are trying to just be more careful by keeping them predictably closer. I don't know. But here we are in a situation where it's close and it might come down to the wire. In which case, advantage who?
Well, as I mentioned right at the beginning of the program, that I think Congress has an advantage in this particular round of elections. And there's another aspect to the entire elections that you had yourself stated that a lot of national issues were being raised in this election. This was not exactly an assembly election, strictly speaking. There were national issues which were playing up because it was a preparation by both parties for the 2019 parliamentary polls. If these exit poll results hold, even if the BJP forms the government, there is a lot of cause of worry because the numbers of the BJP in parliamentary polls, as compared to what they were in 2014, are going to come down, at least in these 3 states, or these 4 states. So either way, there will be a lot of lessons for both the Congress and the BJP to learn.
Okay. Let's quickly take it state by state. Then we're going to discuss it issue by issue. There has been something dramatic been happening in Telangana. I'm just going to update you on that in a second. Professor Nalapat, if we just look at Madhya Pradesh in its entirety, it's been 13 odd years of Shivraj, 15 odd years of a BJP government. Shivraj has been non-stick. Vyapam came when it was not even a polling issue for any of the voters talking on the ground, weren't talking about Vyapam. It might be incumbency, it might not be. There might be rural-urban divide, which we'll end up analyzing. But in fundamental grounds, for a Shivraj Singh Chauhan, what next if he doesn't make it?
Well, if he doesn't make it, well, he can always hope that in 2019 the BJP comes back to power. He can be made a cabinet minister. If Vasundhara loses Rajasthan, she can always hope to be brought via the Rajya Sabha and made a cabinet minister. So there's always hope for politicians even if they lose. My point is this, the weakness for the BJP is that 15 years is a long time. And frankly, a large percentage of the voters will not really be remembering the rule of the Congress party 15 years ago. The BJP tried to make it a referendum between Shivraj Singh Chauhan and Digvijay Singh. That has not worked out. Because the Congress has not fallen into a trap. And I think the Congress has made it very clear, whoever comes as Chief Minister, it will not be Digvijay Singh.
Okay, so let's talk about...
the point is therefore that the younger voters especially, they're looking at jobs now, they're looking at their welfare now, and if they feel now is not very good, then they're unlikely to go
so
BJP.
you touched upon the nerve, let me pick on it, first with Priya, then I'll put it to the Congress and the BJP. if the Congress does have an advantage, and it might not have, it's still a divided house, do they have a clear choice now, post-poll, which they didn't want to tell us pre-poll?
I think it was more or less clear in Madhya Pradesh that it would be Kamal Nath. You know, he's been in Madhya Pradesh, at least he's been given charge of the PCC, and I think Sindhya has also been told that he has age on his side, and more importantly, Kamal Nath has Digvijay on his side, because the only state face the Congress has his Digvijay, and Digvijay has been working for Kamal Nath. You know, the two of them have been working in tandem ever since '93 when Digvijay was Chief Minister for the first time. Ever since then, the two are actually two sides of the same coin. So I would say Kamal Nath definitely has the edge here.
Okay. Is wisdom suggesting to us, Kalyani ji, Kamal Nath?
Yes, of course. Kamal Nath has been trying to become the Chief Minister for 2 or 3 years. For the past 2 or 3 years, he's been trying for it. He was very upset. He went off to Dubai and sat there. Then he came back. He was made the PCC chief, and now he's working very hard. He's putting money, so he's got all the things on his side.
We are being a lot of predictive, perhaps not prescriptive. Shashadri Chari. Regardless of which way this goes, if it's the BJP, is obviously Shivraj back, but if it is potentially the Congress, does Kamal Nath have the clear edge now?
No, the fight was never between, it was not Kamal versus Kamal Nath. it was Shivraj Singh Chauhan had an edge over all these things. And if you remember, initially Vijay Singh publicly went on record saying that my party has told me to keep away from journalists and the media, because whatever I say gets wrongly reported, and my party gets affected in the elections. So that is the kind of relationship that the party and Vijay Singh has. So he was nowhere in the race. Therefore, actually speaking, Congress had a lot of difficulties putting all the people together. It had a leadership problem, unfortunately. In fact, the Congress party had a great advantage not only in Madhya Pradesh, but Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan. Always remember one thing: wherever Congress has to fight BJP, the chances of Congress winning are greater. Wherever the BJP and Congress are fighting each other, the chances of BJP winning are greater. If you look at all the states put together,
interesting thought.
If you minus all these states where there is no BJP, there is no Congress.
So I'll just stay with me, sir. We are just hearing in from Raman Singh, still currently incumbent Chief Minister. Let's quickly listen in and I'll come back to you, sir.
तारीख को क्या क्या सावधानी करना है, गिनती के लिए हम सवेरे से कैसे तैयारी करें, वो सारे निर्देश उनको जारी किए गए हैं। और मुझे लगता है जो उत्साह का वातावरण, उनके चेहरे की चमक मैं देख रहा था, जो कार्यकर्ताओं में जो हमारे प्रत्याशी हैं उनसे भी बात करने का अवसर मिला, तो इस सबको उम्मीद है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की जो राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी ने जो लक्ष्य दिया है 65+, वो टारगेट के आसपास हम पहुंचेंगे और अपने बलबूते पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी चौथी बार सरकार बनाने में सफल होगी।
There you heard it from Raman Singh. He's doing housekeeping announcements for the poll counting date, which is going to come on the 11th. Of course, you can take it for granted that he'll have been made aware. He'll have received a text and somebody would have whispered in his ear where the wind is going, and it's not going to be deeply anxious because it is close and there's going to be still nervy over the next few days. Okay, Vinit Goenka, straightforward questions. When it comes now to you looking ahead, this is now done one way or the other. The polls are in the bank. There's nothing that you can do to undo it, whether you win or lose. When you're looking ahead, what is the one thing that you feel that the party can do better?
So one we can do is to communicate more with the voters there, what we have done there on the ground, because what has been done in the last 4.5 years.
इतने ad, इतनी social media campaign, आप ही तो आपकी इतनी लंबी list लेके आते हैं, उससे अब क्या रह गया, क्या communicate रह गया?
I'll give you one example. In this all Rafale and Augusta and all these things, we are not able to tell people that the petrol prices have come down drastically.
Okay, that's an interesting
so
fair enough.
We have to tell people कि भाई जब 2 पैसा बढ़ता है तो इतनी मार पड़ती है कि 8-8 रुपए कम हुए हैं, जरा लोगों को बता देते हैं।
International भी तो इतना कम हो गया ना?
But लोगों को तो फर्क पड़ता है, तो 2 पैसे में but you see, more or less जब जेब में 2 पैसे का पार होता है, so I think those entire formula of
media needs to be reporting good news once in a while.
जेब में दाम और हाथ में काम is worked very nicely.
Big debate tomorrow on cheaper petrol. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a second question. We have this now entire state of India coming before us, and potentially there are going to be several crucial assembly battles. Most probably Jammu and Kashmir is going to be fought there. Is the entire national narrative now going to shift to fighting state elections and national issues?
No, as I said earlier, and I think it got lost. there are three things which now the voters talk about and the political parties talk about. Muh mein Ram, jeb mein dam aur haath mein kaam. So we have to have progress, there have to be financial gain, the GDP 8.2 and also the identity politics. We cannot allow our past to be always seen as slavery. So probably all the three things will go
together. What was going on, Nizam and Ghulam and Hyderabad, Bhagya Nagaram, what was that? That was not identity politics?
See, once a major thing like, Ayodhya comes up, then naturally there are small local issues also which have to be tackled. Now, I don't have a study of Hyderabad, but I'll tell you one thing. Identity is one thing which a man at whatever level is searching for. And even an educated person like me get excited when I see the name changes Ayodhya.
Okay.
I'm very honest with you.
Okay, fundamental things. Let's look at the fundamental things. We've been talking about Madhya Pradesh. Priya Sahgal, let's talk about the national issues. Rafale, every single rally that Rahul Gandhi did, almost in every state he was talking about Rafale. Not all about Rafale, not all the time about Rafale, but he was making a point of it. Mandir repeatedly mentioned in the Rajasthan end-up campaign. Christian Mikhail was repeatedly mentioned. The report, the voters might have not have been talking about it, but it's been mentioned, and that's a clear national narrative setter. Has that narrative been set, or will it now change depending on what the results happen?
I think depending on what the results happen, but that narrative will carry on because the Congress will feel, if it wins the states, as our trends are showing, the Congress will feel somewhere the corruption tag has stuck onto the BJP. Especially, don't forget today the government is the ED is raiding Robert Vadra, so there there is obviously the who is more corrupt game being played over here.
Sampling, it doesn't qualify for any scientific methodology, but our reporters were there on the ground asking this thought. Let's listen into what they were talking when we asked them about Mikhail and Mandir.